The peace of the Lord be with you. Ebusianfo Erade asumdue enkan. Hey jole ahanye. Minu anumadofo. Shalom aleichem. Ene yasenye shiebiem on call to serve. Ni nyina ne se ye ba behwe yem sofo panyin ba ko a onyankopon de na ye adwuma wo ministry ni mu na ya hunu se de onyame frɛ no na adwuma ye mu enioma nyame de na fam na ahye wo nkran na ahye mi nkran na yen so ye nam so atutu ya namo yie ba bia wo hwe ase no ye de eduru hɔ a ye de aya adesua na ye de anante e de akoye nim. And that is what we call you to come and sit at your behind your TV set on PCG TV to watch us anytime we come to your screens with Call to Serve. Call to Serve is a program to inspire you for ministry. We have a seasoned reverend minister who has been to the ministry, and we are coming to digest and go into his life story, and he's going to inspire us to also move our ways in the ways of the Lord. Beloved, just as the Lord called Jeremiah in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, and he said, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. The Lord knows everyone, including yourself. And therefore, the calling of the Lord is upon your life. But how do you walk into it? How do you step into it? We look at the examples of others, and we are able to make our steps right with the Lord. And therefore, I have with me a seasoned reverend minister. After this break, I'm going to introduce my guest. And when I introduce him to you, we are going deep into his life. Continue to be with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Just as I told you, I have another seasoned minister with us to share with us his life experiences with the Lord in ministry to inspire you to greatness. Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene. Papa, you are welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
You are welcome to Call to Serve.
Thank you very much.
And we are grateful to the Lord for bringing you to us.
It's a pleasure to be here myself. Thank you.
We thank God. Papa, so when we talk of Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene, who is he? Who is Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene?
Well, Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene is a minister of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, basically. But I'm sure probably you're asking about where
were you born?
Where I was born and all of that.
And which food were you eating? All right, let's go.
So of course, Joshua Bossman Ohene is a boy born to parents who come from Kwawu Abitifi.
Okay.
So that's where I hail from, Kwawu Abitifi proper, both mother and father.
I see.
And I have 4 siblings. 3 boys and a girl.
Okay.
I happen to be the very last, so I'm the last born. In terms of family life, I'm lucky. I was lucky to be born to parents who are Christians in the first place.
Okay.
And Presbyterians for that matter, who worshipped at the official town. A congregation of the Presbyterian Church of Adabraka. So actually, I was born at Adabraka.
Okay.
And so right from infancy, we were introduced to church.
Okay.
And then that's where we were all the time through children's service. Our time, we did not have JY. So you went to children's service all the way till you were confirmed.
Okay.
So I was baptized there. I was offered Danentry, and then grew all the way up to age 18, where I was confirmed by also Mante. So basically that's who I am. Born in Adabraka to Presbyterian parents.
Okay. Yeah. So Papa, from childhood, where did you start your school in Adabraka? There, which school were you attending?
Okay. So at Adabraka, we had quite a number of schools at Adabraka, but I attended the Kentucky Memorial Primary School. And Ken in Ghana is Manche. So either you say Kentucky, and the Ghans have a king called Kentucky Terrier. So that school was named after King.
That king. Okay.
So Kentucky Terrier. So Kentucky primary school. But then the locals call it Manchetaki.
Okay.
Because King is Manche.
It's Manche.
Like Ohene and Tree. So either Kentucky or Manchetaki. If you say Manchetaki, there's like you attended some corner school like that. So we say Kentucky to make it sound preparatory school kind of. Yeah. But that's where I started. I went all the way from the class 1 to class 6 at Manchetaki Primary School. And I guess I was kind of coming up a bit fast. So I remember right from class 6, I wasn't allowed to go to the secondary school because I was kind of catching up with the brother that I come after.
Okay.
You know, so then I was made to
you
go.
were trying to do overtaking.
To do some overtaking. Yeah, so I went to the Catholic school at Adabraka. They call it St. Joseph's Catholic School. You know, so the schools that President Rawlings attended. He actually also grew up in Adabraka.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's where I went to do my middle school from 1 to create a gap between me and the brother that I came after. So right from then I entered Accra High School, Asylum Down. And then after,
so in Accra,
no Accra
High.
Yeah.
Accra High. Yeah. Okay. How was your involvement in Christian activities over there?
I think that I have to admit that at secondary school, I wasn't deeply involved in Christian activity. Okay. I attended Christian programs, but I wasn't very deep in things of SU because I just told you that as the last one.
Sure.
So my senior brothers were always out. And so I stayed with my mother for a long time. Okay. This meant that any time school closed, I had to rush back to the house. Okay. And it was after school that these services were held.
Okay.
Secondly, I was a day student.
All right.
So yes, those who were in the boarding house had a lot more time to do that. So as and when I had time, I joined campus, services. But most of the time I was home doing more of church in the house than in school.
Oh, so you were more church.
I was more church at home. Yes, church trained than.
All right. So from Accra High, then you went to.
Then I went to Agri Memorial Zion Secondary School.
I see.
That's where I did my 6th form in Cape Coast, and of course 2 years. And right after I did my national service at Daboase, where I taught at the Daboase Senior High School. Okay. Basically.
Oh, okay.
And already fond memories are coming.
Sure.
Yeah.
Share with us.
Well, I was in the Backman House in Accra High School. In the schools you have a house. Sure. So Backman House in Accra High School, I was basically a sportsman. I think.
Which discipline?
Football.
Oh, really?
Generally multi-talented. Okay. But I think the one that is like a star
top,
one was the football.
Okay.
But I also was in athletics. The 100 meters and 200 meters were my I'm favorite.
Just trying to imagine Papa Bossman in the race.
The school team, I played for the house when we had, inter-houses. The school team was rather a tough one. So I didn't really break into the school team, but the house, the one for the house, was a regular feature there. Okay. I think I have a couple of certificates. I have one, the very final one, which I did in Form 4, because Form 5 we were going to write exams. Okay. So in Form 4, I think I made the 3rd position for the 100 meters, and then the 100 by 4. I think we also came 2nd by my house. So I got to represent the school.
That's great to know that you were very active. And all that. Okay, so Papa Bossman, coming to church at that stage of your life, and when you are like you were a day student and you were also there, what are some of the fun activities that you can remember when you were a day student doing maybe activities in the church? Were you so much deep into some things that very deep? As I said, our parents introduced us to church right from the word go. Okay. So very early in our church life, anything that the church did, we were part of it. I remember when the official town congregation were building where they are right now, close to the Graphic Corporation. Okay. That the land was so much soggy, very waterlogged. Yeah. And so I remember as young as 5 years old, 6-year-old children, we were part of the construction. I remember we were holding the paint buckets because they got us to be involved. So we were carrying the paint buckets
water to scoop the water out.
I see.
So we're like right there, they got us involved in church. We didn't do much, but the little things they allowed us to be part of.
It's also put your fingerprints on some of the things.
So we saw it right from the time the foundations were laid. You remember we were in a school at Manchetaki.
Okay.
The Official Town Congregation actually, I won't say broke away or separated, but was formed out of the Resurrection Congregation at Accra Central, where a group of people felt that they needed to hear God's word in their own language or to worship in Twi. So Official Town basically was part of Resurrection Accra. And so then when they tried to have a congregation that spoke more Twi, then they got the Manchetaki school, the Kintaki school, which was the primary school that I was attending. And one of the classrooms was where we started. So it was that. And then from there, we were now moving to the current place where they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So, Papa, at what point do you remember giving your life to Christ to say that I have accepted Jesus Christ?
I would like to think that it was a confirmation.
During your confirmation?
During my confirmation. Because these were very, very serious periods where the leadership of the church made sure that we understood the faith. I would like to say that the foundation itself was strong already. The children's service at the time was very strong. The Bible quotations that we learned, the plays that we were asked, to enact, the biblical ones, the Bible activities that we're involved in, like draw your swords, sword drills, and all those things. So we were right in it. Okay. And I have to also say that we had very serious people who were taking good care of us. I remember people like Brother Ajimang of blessed memory. I remember people like Katkis, the Opoen Sido of blessed memory. I remember people like, the Papa Lawyer Dumante.
Okay.
Yes, Dumante. Yes, former lay rep of a yes, a lawyer. He was one of the people who taught us then as a student service.
So he has also been
very much involved in our lives. Even up to today with his wife. So they were very serious people who took the children's ministry seriously. And so the foundation had been built, and therefore, at the time of confirmation, it was easy now to understand what faith is going on. And I would want to believe that was where I really understood this whole thing about being a Christian and then working with God more seriously.
Wow. Okay, so Papa, we will be coming back to you, but after this break. But when we come back, we're going to dive into how you shaped up to understand that God is calling you into ministry, and how it all came about. So you'll be sharing more with us. Beloved, if you have just joined us, we are on Call to Serve, and we have with us Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene, and he's sharing with us deeper fond memories of childhood days and how his formation has been to bring him to this level. It's always good to take note of the fact that the foundation of everybody's life is very, very important, because that brings about the strength of the superstructure. Beloved, when we come back from this break, we are diving more into his ministry life. We will be right back.
Stories come alive, voices are heard, and faith meets inspiration. This is PCG TV. From news to powerful sermons, from business spotlights to youth-driven conversations, we bring you content that informs and transforms. Do you need media coverage, live streaming, documentary and video production, or event coverage? PCG TV is your best stop. Call us today on 0257 353 533 and follow us on all social media platforms at PCG TV. PCG TV, in thy light, there is light.
Welcome back. We still have with us the Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene. So, Papa, ministry-wise, Abraham was called at the age of 70. Jeremiah, the Bible even tells us that even when you were a clot in your mother's womb, I knew you. Papa, at what stage of your life did you realize that God is calling you into ministry as a reverend minister?
Thank you very much. I'd like to believe that I had tried quite a few things.
Okay.
You know, if you study up to the sixth form, definitely you must have a plan for your life. So, and I studied maths, physics, and chemistry at the sixth form.
I see.
So I was targeting something in the area of engineering.
Okay.
But I guess God had other plans. You know, so while I was trying to find my way in that area, it was a period that I was also deeply involved in church. And many ministers who, you know, pastored the congregation that I was in kept telling me that they felt this is what God, you know, has for me in my life.
See.
Because I was wholly dedicated to it. Especially when I left the Abraka official town and went to the Abeka district, the Bethel congregation at Akwitiman.
Okay.
Because my parents moved residence. So I think at age 20, we were not living at Abraka anymore. We moved to the Abeka La Paz area in a suburb called Akwitiman. And there was a Presby church called the Bethel Presby you know, congregation there. And so now distance from Abeka La Paz to Adabraka was quite a distance. And at sixth form, after sixth form, 20 years, 21 years, 22 years, anytime I had to be in church, it meant I had to travel with my parents. Okay. If my parents didn't go, then I couldn't go because you needed money to get a transport to go and come. You couldn't be part of weekly activities because then you lived far away. Now, and because I was desirous, I decided not to attend official town again. Okay. But then to join the Bethel congregation, which was just like a few meters from the house. Okay. So I could enjoy church. And you know, it was small at the time. Yeah. And I remember when I went, the men's fellowship were now going to be inaugurated. And there were not too many men. So then every young man in that church was a men's fellowship. So I remember I was the one who read the first ever report of that men's fellowship on their inauguration at the age of 20-something. Wow. So I didn't start as a YPG man. I started as a men's fellowship man at the age of 20-something.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
But so on the day when I did that after the service, the young men and the young ladies, the YPG came and said to me, but you are YPG age. Why have you not come to join us? But I've come to this, but I'm not seeing the youth in the church. And this is, you know, so then right from they drafted me straight into the YPG. Okay. Then I started working as a young people's girls person. And then immediately also started helping with the lecturing or the teaching or the leading of the junior youth in the church. So that's how that I would say it started. And I never looked back. To the time the local YPG was inaugurated as a full branch of the YPG, was their local secretary, became their local president, YPG president, then rose from there to become the district secretary. Whoa. Then after the district secretary, I was voted again into office as the district organizer. Now, all through this, now you will see ministers were coming and going. And so every one of them, and I remember people like also for Paul Ditchem, you know, who I served, and that when I was district secretary, I remember people like that's PK Ditchem. I know him. Then also we had Reverend Decker. You know, Reverend Decker also came. I also served him as a youth, you know, in the Abeka district. I remember also for Deja, Reverend Dr. Gottisbeck, Aku Deja. Also came. So all these, including the catechists and the evangelists, they were telling me, they think God is called. I remember I hadn't gone to the university at the time. I had also worked as a teacher. I taught at Daboase Tech for a while. I came back, joined Faith Montessori, taught there, but I was still, you know, in the church doing a lot of activities. At that point, let me just say that, you know, serving God. So around the time, then one day Papa just said that he thinks that God wants me to do his work, so I should consider it. So I started thinking about it. As soon as I finished my work as a district organizer in 2003, you know, those days you served for 2 years of one term. And then you could do 2 terms. So it was 4 years. So from 1999 to 2003, when I finished my DO-ship, if I could say that, then one of the congregations called the Tessano congregation, now St. Andrews, became vacant. And they didn't have anybody to take care of that congregation.
As a caretaker.
As a caretaker.
As an agent of the
as an agent.
Yeah.
So the also the judge said that if he, judges from the way I led the young people, we did a lot of things. I'm sure time will not permit us. Ministry to rural evangelism. Those days, Amaseman area was not open like this, and all of those things. So he felt I could take care of the church. I didn't have any training. I was just put there to go and take care of a church, and I didn't have any training whatsoever. But let me be quick to say that around the time also, then the idea of going to ministry actually was now becoming stronger and stronger.
Okay.
Papa Deja himself went, picked forms for me, made sure I came to his office to sign, and then he will send it. In fact, on the day of interview, for some reason, I didn't receive a call. He was the one who heard that the interview was happening on the day and called me. I was still in the classroom teaching. And I had to leave the chalk. It wasn't marker, it was chalk. So I left the chalk and rushed back to Sue. Sue for the interview. Long story short, then I was picked. I would have gone to mainline, that is TTS.
Okay.
But then the interview results, at the time it came, I had also gained admission to the university.
Okay.
So it was University of Ghana and the ministry. I was supposed to choose one. And I didn't want to leave either of them. So what I said was that then I will do the special ministerial training, which led to certificate in divinity with RTC and still be at the university. So I was in the university, normal student. And then when university is on vacation, I was at Abitifi. And then when Abitifi is on recess, I'm back in the university.
Okay.
So within a period of 3 years, I had done both university and ministry.
Wow.
And that's how.
So you did them.
Yes, concurrently. So that's
great.
how come. Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
So which year were you commissioned?
I was commissioned in the year 2006.
2006.
Yeah, 2006 at Mamprobi. Mamprobi. I think it's Ebenezer.
Oh, okay.
And then the ordination was in 2008 at Tamanoff.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. I see.
Those were the
so what was your first station?
My first station, was the same congregation, the Tesano congregation, now called St. Andrews, where I'm going to be a caretaker from 2004 to 2006.
I see.
But because both schools, the RTC and university, were overlapping, I had to do one more year at the university. So I became a minister in 2006, but then completed the university in 2007.
I see.
So then they asked me to stay there. And so that place became, though I was working there, officially became my first station. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
How did it felt like? Like you finished school and you are still maintaining?
Well, I think that we were gelling.
Okay.
Yeah, we were gelling. I think the vibe was strong.
Okay.
The congregation and myself were doing well. Okay. But there are a lot of things that I think, if time will permit us, I'll say about that congregation, because you see, the congregation had gone through a period of 20 years. I'll say they were sojourning in the sense that they never had a place of worship for 20 years.
Ooh.
They were moved from this house to that structure. The landowner wants my land. So for 20 years, they hadn't actually settled. And that had caused, the growth not to be the way it affects the growth. Exactly. But then when I went there in 2004, luckily we had now found a place. They had found a place not too long before I went to join them in 2004. So it was a period for growth.
Okay. Yes. It was a period for growth. We'll be right back and continue right from there and to other stations that the Lord has carried you through. In fact, let me say that your life journey is very, very inspiring. And beloved, as you are hearing from Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene, very inspiring story life and how God is carrying him through. Stick and stay with us. We will be right back.
Stories come alive, voices are heard, and faith meets inspiration. This is PCG TV. From news to powerful sermons, from business spotlights to youth-driven conversations, we bring you content that informs and transforms. Do you need media coverage, live streaming, documentary and video production, or event coverage? PCG TV is your best stop. Call us today on 0257 353 533 and follow us on all social media platforms at PCG TV. PCG TV. In thy light, there is light.
Welcome back, beloved in the Lord. We are still with Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene, sharing with us inspiring life that God has carried him through in ministry. In fact, ministry comes with so many things that God exposes us to. And Papa Joshua Bossman Ohene is sharing with us some of the things that the Lord has carried him through. Papa, back to your first station.
So as I was saying, that congregation needed growth. Something new had to happen.
Sure.
I had observed the change that was happening on the front of ministry, where charismatism, emphasis on the power gifts of the Holy Spirit, all those things were coming up at the time. I mean, they were there already, but in PCG, it was becoming very much alive. And at the time, people like former moderator, very Reverend Mate, they were in the forefront of the deliverance ministry. So I remember in one of the ministers' conference that we attended, I think the 2007 one, I had actually gone there while everybody was kind of eating. Probably other people were also fasting, but I was fasting when we were there as ministers, at the conference, asking God for the gifts, asking God to bless me with something extra beyond the preaching, the power gifts that seems, if well managed, brings transformation. And I remember that on the third day while I was still fasting, I had a visitation. These are things that you cannot really explain to people.
Sure.
But I remember that there alone in my room, so small corner, there alone, I felt the presence of God. I found myself speaking in other tongues. All of a sudden, the Bible I was holding, I kind of dropped it on the bed. My brain suddenly became like a big book that was being opened page after page, things being imprinted. I was like, what is happening to me? This is something that you must experience on your own to understand.
Sure.
And from there, I came down from Kumasi, and that was the turning point in my own ministry.
Yes.
And of course, it affected the growth of the church. And within 2 years, we had put up a story building.
Wow.
Within 2 years.
Wow.
I remember those were the days where politicians came to the church to ask for prayer. There were politicians who were going to vie for elections, and they came to receive prayer. There was a time where people would come and give the church 40 bags of cement, 100 bags of cement. They were not members. I dare say, confidently say, and truthfully so, that Friday evenings in that community, there was no church that had people in there, because everybody ran to the Presbyterian church at Tesano in St. Andrews when God brought to us the ministry that we called Hour of Grace, Adumre.
Okay.
It was for everybody. It was bigger than forenoon service. And that was the transformation that happened in the church. Got the numbers coming in, young men traveling abroad, young men entering the university. It was, we actually went to some Muslims who had a land in the place, because we were looking for a land for a crusade, and we couldn't get one. So we went to the Muslims, we said we needed a land for crusade. They gave it to us. Now, when they gave it to us, I was thinking what message I was going to preach, because they were there, their numbers. Oh my God. So I asked for grace, and we preached. By the message of God, we preached fearlessly. We preached. We made sure we did not antagonize anybody, but Christ was preached. And we went there to thank them on the Saturday. We gave them some money for allowing us to use their land. The next Sunday, they were in church. And they brought us parts of the money to also come and thank God for the ministry that we came to do there. And for the first time, they had heard Christians preach without really bashing them. And they fell in love exactly with the message that we preached. Now, when they left the room, I don't know what happened to me. As soon as they left, that I told the church that the land that they're sitting on belongs to us. We must get that land. I don't know what happened. I just said it in the church. Long story short, I left there in 2009.
Okay.
Long story short, 6-7 years later, they said they were selling the land. I am told that Fidelity Bank, it sits right at the junction of Abeka Junction, where Peace FM is.
Okay.
They came trying to get the land. Apostolic Church was there. They came trying to get the land. It was selling at the time, I hear, about 3 million. That was 300,000 or something like that. The Presbyterian Church, Tesano, didn't have that kind of money. But this Muslim family said, we will give our land to the church.
To the Presbyterian
church at a lower fee. It is there now, world, and to the glory of God. So as for Tesano, was where I drew my first blood for ministry. it was tight.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, Papa, from Tesano, where else?
Oh yeah, Tesano. Leaving Tesano was tears.
I can see.
Tears because
I can see.
Yeah.
I share in some of the fun memories
and the
too,
people
right?
and everything. Well,
Yeah.
I went to Donkokrum.
Okay.
Afan Plains.
Oh, behind the
river.
Panto.
Exactly.
Oh, I've been there.
And that was terrible because I had lived my life, all my life in Accra. And the farthest I'd gone to was Cape Coast, where I did my sixth form, and then that was where I taught, but now Afan Plains was a thing. President, when you are transferred to an unfamiliar grounds, the talk was there. Hey, what has he done? Did he do anything wrong? Is somebody trying to, all those things. But Donkokrum we went. And that was another experience altogether. God gave us energy. God gave us protection. God gave us a ministry. The whole Donkokrum church was lifted. I remember the ministry of Abo Fair. That was the first time they had crossed the river to come. Afan Plains is a well-known place when it comes to power. And river areas and all the spirit that can play up there. So I got them to come over around the time. We did some wonderful ministry there, open air crusades and cinema vans from Somerset to Kwesikuma to Chemfre. I remember all the places, Samenshia, all that. But I said, God bless the ministry. And we saw the ministry grow also there. What I think God did differently in Afan Plains was that he did not limit our capacity to the church. So, for instance, the Presbyterian Hospital in Donkokrum, God gave us influence.
Now it's the biggest hospital there.
And before we went there, planning ministry for the hospital in terms of chaplains, it was being led by an Assemblies of God guy.
Whoa.
And I didn't understand why the hospital was for Presbyterians, yet if we went for a meeting, I was seated behind and was the Assemblies guy. I said, this is not on. Well, anyway, by grace, within a short time, we overhauled the system. Oh, quickly. We overhauled the system to charge. The Presbyterians were now in charge, designing ministry for in-house, inpatients and things like that. So from Afan Plains, we came all the way back to Accra to do my master's by scholarship and from the church. And so I went to Mount of Olives, Tantra Hill, where I spent 5 years, 2011 to 2016, because I was in school up to 2013, 2014. So 2016, God took us to Ascension Congregation, North Legon, where I also stayed from 2016 to 2021. Marvelous things time will not permit us to talk about.
Sure.
And then from North Legon, straight to North Kaneshie. As district minister.
From North Legon to North Kaneshie.
Most of
for
my,
you, North.
And either it's North or Stone. because Tesano is a guy where Tesano, Te is stone. Sa is like Kete. So Tesano, like, so it's a stone bed. The stone bed to Kwawu North.
I see.
The Kwawu North to Tantra Hill. Tantra Hill to,
Legon, North
Legon, all in the North Hill, Tesano, and then North Kaneshie. And then from North Kaneshie, I was appointed as National Clan Director. But let me say that before that, while I was at Tantra Hill, I became the Gapre Clan Director. And so these are the places I've been to.
Okay. So Papa, I know your ministry is deep and vast, especially even being the Clan Director. And Papa, let me ask you, what are some of the challenges that you faced and you want to share and how God brought you out? I know you've shared some few challenges with Tesano, Stonebed. Now I know. But any other ministry, somebody listening to us will be inspired with it?
Well, for very good reasons, I would not like to be very specific.
Okay.
But I have to say that generally, if you're a leader, you must develop the kind of muscle and skin that allows you to pursue God's agenda, even when the people that you are leading are not ready to move along with you. So if you ask me, I would say that it is a general problem that most ministers will face when there are specific things that you are convinced that this is what is good for the congregation. You try to get your session, to agree with you to move. Yet, right from within the session, you may have people opposing. Sometimes they will not say it in your face, but then you get to know from behind the scenes that they are plotting things, sometimes among groups, sometimes they want to use the young people against you. So I think these are general things that happen. But the good thing is that when you're able to stand your grounds and get, still part of the people supporting whatever you want to do, and it ends well, everybody begins to follow and to give glory to God. When we wanted to buy the manse at North Legon, fantastic community, gated, more like gated community. One of the best places anybody would like to live in Accra. But I remember when we wanted to buy that facility, church felt that it was expensive. Why do we have to buy that kind of? But now they are proud anytime they are sending ministers to that place as a residence. But I had to bear the brand of leading them to get what I knew was good for them. So I think it plays up everywhere. But I also think that there are near perils. There are near perils that God honors his name by saving us every time. I remember a snake once tried to enter our room in our farm plains. Mama was just getting up to pick something from inside. And then we got it done. I remember we had faced a storm, on River Bossman. River Bossman is a river that sits between, let me say, the front part of Dongo Chrome. There's a place that we call Supum.
Okay.
So Supum is the last town, and then you cross River Bossman. Then you begin to travel all the way to Ntunaboma.
Oh, okay.
And I remember we had gone to Ntunaboma one day when we were coming back, and we met a storm, and it was. I actually felt that was it, because the pontoon was just deep nose dive, and for some reason God's power it comes out. We go deep and it comes out, and I knew it was done.
And you felt like, hey, this is it.
Yeah, I felt it was
so
done.
all this while, this is where we are coming to end it.
And there are perils. I remember while on it, there were 2 trucks loaded with charcoal.
Okay.
And I guess that this also had their God. When the thing was happening, I told Mama, let's stay in our pickup, so that if the worst case scenario, if the pickup is kind of drawn out, if we get to drown or sink, our bodies will be found. So we're in there, facing the storm, all of that. But then suddenly I saw the persons with the track people holding some things in their arms, speaking to it. So they were exercising their faith. While the pontoon was trying to, overturn, they were exercising their faith, holding amulets and things and speaking. And so they dawned on me. I was like, but I have a God. Why I'm hiding?
Yeah, even exercising this. What about
what am I doing? I'm hiding.
And I am even creating my own casket.
Creating my own casket, ready to die. That's it. So when I saw that, ignited something in me. I told Mama, Tenase. So I said Tenase. Then I just came out. So I also held one of the pillars on the pot while it was sinking and all of that. I needed to demonstrate that I have a God bigger than their God. Lifted my right hand. The thing was do and die anyway. So I lifted my hands and I just openly screamed at the top of my voice. And I remember what I said. That if you're that same Christ who on the day you were traveling with your disciples met the storm and you quietened it, that peace be still. If you are that same God who sent me on this journey, let not this river take us. I take authority, command you to stop. Be still.
Be still.
And you said, be still. I thought after saying be still to be still. No, be still. But the thing was still shaking.
When we read the Bible, he raised his hands and immediately at once.
But my own was immediate. So I stayed on. But I think I observed a reduction in the intensity of the storm. And then, it settled a bit, and then it settled a bit, and then it settled a bit. And before long, we're cruising. And these are places people have gone and not returned. And I look back always on this incident. It was in the month of June, and I can remember it was the 10th of June. I've never forgotten, And God saved us by his mighty hand. So the challenges, one is in the church. Sometimes people are, but in all
God has been faithful.
God has been faithful, and we are still here.
I love the portion where you felt this is it.
Yeah, because
let's stay in the car. At least we have created a casket for
yes.
But the casket became your pickup to carry you back home because you exercise your faith.
If you will allow me, this one.
Just 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
Okay.
This one.
60 seconds.
You know, the people in the community, they know the weather. They can just check the weather and get to know that there's something happening on the river. You will not believe that when we hadn't returned home, the prayer team that I worked with in the farm plains, they gathered in the mission house. The evangelism team led by one divine, Alonyanku, I have to mention his name, rallied the people and said to them that if he checks the weather, Papa could be struggling on the river because by now he's returning. And the way I say, he himself had been a river boy. He goes under the river to release nets and all of that. So he knew. And he said that by now Papa is struggling. If I check what I'm seeing in the sky, beloved, let us pray. So while we were on the river struggling, I didn't know people had gathered in the mission house and were interceding. And they interceded until our vehicle entered the house. When we got to the house, there was a mass group of young men and women shouting on top of their voices that God save Papa if anything happened on the river. And we came and narrated it and come and see praises to God.
Wow.
So time will not allow us in this one. But there are many things.
It is good I've given you the 60
the 60 seconds. So, yeah, maybe I'll have some few words to end.
Sure, Papa. We will be concluding very soon. This is ministry, and this is the God we serve. Beloved, if you are still watching us, this is an inspiring story that God carries his children even in the storm. It did not just happen in the Bible, it's happening in the... I have been on that river with the panto before. I know how, but even when it is stable, how it's shaky it is. And it is now not stable, shaky. And by the Lord's favor, really... The point you said that the church, the evangelism team, the prayer team had converged to pray, tells us that in ministry, beloved, it is not alone. We don't work alone. The people we work with. If you are part of a team praying for your minister, keep doing it. Keep doing it because it keeps us going. Your prayers work. And just as it worked for our Papa. Papa, before we conclude, your final words to our cherished viewers watching us at this moment. We will surely bring you back one day again.
We do more. Well, just to thank everybody who has played a part in my life. I think that I've been mentored right from my children's service days. All persons, I cannot mention names. If you are watching me or hear about this interview later on somewhere, you are the one I'm thanking. Because we've all played wonderful roles in my life. Ministry, ministers, catechists that I've worked with. I want to thank everybody. The story that I just ended with, people like Ofenyani, people like Gisesiama, people like Hifolabi, Atekropon, and Divine, all of them. I want to thank everybody for the support that they have given. But I think I also have to thank my parents. My parents who I will say that is where the whole thing began from. Saw them kneel every morning with my mother having a white scarf on her head. And every morning, up to today, they do it. By the mercies of God, I've grown to see them still alive. My old boy is 88. My old lady is around, I think, 83. And they are still waking up at 4 a.m. to do morning devotion up to today. And we saw all of that growing up. And I think that it left a lot of spiritual imprints in our lives. And they are my cheerleaders even up to today when they hear some of the things that God is doing. And so I want to thank everybody, my siblings, my big sister, who actually is also a minister. She has her own ministry in London, Shalom Ministries International, a UK-based ministry. She's also an Osofo. And of course, my brother and myself. So I thank everybody.
Thanksgiving to everyone who has made tremendous and even lighter weight and impact in the life of Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene. And this is where the time will permit us. Beloved, this has been very inspiring moment with Reverend Joshua Bossman Ohene. And I know you have been blessed. Remember this, that the impact of our ministry or the challenges that we face in ministry do not only come out from the external people. He talked about the fact that sometimes the challenges will come from within. people that you really want to carry them along. It reminds me of what Margaret Thatcher said, that leadership is leading people to where they ought to be, but they don't want to be.
Yeah.
And it is time that we sit up, face the challenges, get the scars, and still make the impact that the Lord has called us to be. And that is about leadership. You who is watching us and wants to enter into ministry, may the Lord empower you. Remember, the focus must always be your calling with the Lord, and really position yourself so well so that the Lord will carry you through. Papa,
yes,
we are grateful to have you.
Thank you
richly
very much.
bless
Thank you for the opportunity.
For sharing with us deeper things of your life, and we are blessed.
Thank you.
We are blessed. And another time we will invite you again and share more into it. May the Lord bless you.
Amen.
And God bless you for joining us. It's been with me, Reverend Ebenezer Hinkano Usu, on Call to Serve. The Lord bless you and make his face shine upon you. Peace be with you.
Stories come alive, voices are heard, and faith meets inspiration. This is PCG TV. From news to powerful sermons, from business spotlights to youth-driven conversations, we bring you content that informs and transforms. Do you need media coverage, live streaming, documentary and video production, or event coverage? PCG TV is your best stop. Call us today on 0257 353 533 and follow us on all social media platforms at PCG TV. PCG TV, in thy light there is light.